who's got the same name as me. Plus, we've got someone joining us on the screen via Skype. So, who we have on stage? We've got two people. We've got Dan and Matthias. They're co-founders of a brand new video-on-demand platform called Pantaflix. They're here to tell us about their fight for fair and rewarding global film distribution. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Dan. And he is coming. I promise he's coming. It's a good thing we got a band playing, you know? Dan is here. All right, put your hands together for Dan, please.
I'm here. Thank you, Daniel. Very nice to see you. Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me here today at this wonderful conference. Very proud to have so many people here in the audience in my hometown. Very good to be here. Do we have a connection to Berlin? I just didn't get the introducing words. As far as I know, my co-founder, partner, Matthias, there he is, right in the office in Berlin at the Pantaflix offices. He wanted to be here with us today, but unfortunately he couldn't make it. So Matthias, can you hear us?
I can hear loud and clearly, my friend.
Ah, that's very nice. I guess a lot of people here know you quite well from TV and feature films. For those who don't know, he's quite an important, very successful, good-looking man in Germany, as you see right now. Matthias, where are you right now? Tell us where you are. What are you doing?
Yeah, you already told it. You said it. I'm in the Pantaflix office in Berlin, and I'm sorry I couldn't be with you there today. But we're working very, very hard here. You see that? Very hard.
Hey,
yeah.
You brought your Brezen, that's very nice. We got blue Brezen here, which is an invention of this conference, actually. I haven't tried one, but I'm going to have a blue Brezen later on. Blue Brezen, yeah, that's something new to me, even though I eat Brezen every day. Matthias, please go back to work. Say hello to our marvelous team. I think we're going to come back to you a little later while I'm telling these great people here about our Pantaflix venture. So say hello to the team, and I hope to see you soon at the Oktoberfest. Don't drink too much beer while I'm talking here on stage. Thank you, Matthias.
Bye-bye.
So this was my co-founder, Matthias Schweighöfer, also being a director and actor in German movies. And he's a co-founder in the company I would like to introduce to you today, Pantaflix, a video-on-demand platform we released just a couple of weeks ago, and which is already proving to be a great worldwide success. And I can see in your faces that it's kind of weird to have a guy up here to talk about a VOD platform, because aren't there these other companies out there like Netflix, Amazon, iTunes? And is this guy sort of a little nuts? He's now setting up another of these companies. And I can tell you, yes, these companies are out there, and they're great companies, but we're even better, and we're very, very different. And that's what I want to talk to you about. That we are just approaching video on demand from a very, very different angle. And therefore, I would like you, by the way, nobody gave me a remote control for these slides, actually, when I went on stage. Can anybody just pass it on to me so I can just switch slides? That would be great. Or I just clap my hands and it works like that. I don't know. Do you hear me backstage? Can anybody give me my remote control, if there is one? I don't have one. Probably somebody's coming up. If not, I'm going to do it without slides. Anyway, so I want you to imagine you're being a film producer, very successful. No, please go back. This is the next one. A remote control will help, actually. That'll be great. There it comes. Thank you. Thank you. The famous device. Life without devices is simply impossible. So please imagine you're a film producer, very successful film producer. You worked hard to get your film financed. It takes you 2 years, 3 years. You invest a lot of your own money, blood, sweat, and tears, creative nightmares, discussions with directors, and suddenly you're out there and your film is produced, a feature film, great German language feature film. Or you're a Mexican film producer, or you're an Italian film producer, or a French film producer. And then it comes to marketing the film. You want your film to be out there, to be seen worldwide, and you invest a lot of money in doing so. You invest in social media campaigns. Of course, marketing is more and more online, also in the old film industry. And you reach a lot of people. You reach your main audience in Germany, and they learn about the film. They read the social media feeds, they follow you, they see the trailer on YouTube, and of course, they want to see the film. And then you go out, and when you're lucky and you make successful films, a German distributor picks your film, or a French distributor picks your French film, and they take it to the cinemas and the whole exploitation chain in their country. And in your country, your home country, everybody has sort of seen the film and is talking about it. But there are more people out there who have learned about your film, as everybody's watching trailers on YouTube. And let's take a look at 1 million German-speaking people in the US, for instance, who are definitely following their friends back at home on Facebook, on Twitter. They hear about the film. They get the word of mouth. They learn that there's a great German comedy out there. And what do expats, high school exchange students, and other people who feel homesick once in a while want to do in their spare time? They want to watch local content from at home. So they go on Netflix, they go on Amazon in the US, for instance, or in other countries, also neighboring European countries. And what do they discover? There's no German language film on Netflix in other territories than in German-speaking territories. They go on iTunes and they experience the same thing. So why is that? Because these platforms are not global platforms. They have various, very, very different programs for very, very different territories. So what these people do out there is actually they actively look for films, and they can't find these films. They're interested in these films. They read online newspapers about these films, but they don't have access to this. So if I, as a producer, go to Netflix US, they're definitely going to tell me, you know what, we can talk about Germany, but your little lousy film compared to 330 million US viewers we're aiming at, we're targeting at, we can't really make sure that 1 million German-speaking people in the US get the content via Netflix. And they say the same thing to Chinese producers who come to the US to target the 2.5 Chinese-speaking people in the US. These platforms are simply closed. And this is not my problem. This is a huge global problem. When we're talking about global releases, we're talking about only 10% of all films being produced every year to be distributed globally. These are the ones, you know, the big brands, the studio films, but this is not it. They're 90%. There's 6,000 films each year. There's a back catalog of 100,000 films we're aiming at. These are the films we're targeting. These are the films we want to make accessible to the entire global audience, which is out there and which is more and more definitely demanding access to all of these movies. It's hard to tell the audience why music is available, YouTube clips are available, books, everything is available worldwide, but a particular movie is not in a digital age. So this is what Pantaflix is doing. We are a company giving access to the individual producer, access the global audience he deserves for his film. So why is that? Why is it so hard to do so in the old world? Why don't the studios and all the other distributors out there, and also the producers, don't access the global audience in the old world? Trying to switch this so I can tell you more about it. So here we are. This looks like a jungle, and this is a jungle. This is the old world of film distribution, and this is what we're turning upside down with Pantaflix. So you are the film producer, and you have done your little film. So what do you have to do to try to get it outside of your home country? Actually, it's a long way, and I told you already, the chances you make it are 10% or even less. So as a filmmaker, you just go and see a sales agent. And a sales agent probably likes your film or he doesn't. If he likes the film, he takes your film to a film market in Cannes, the Cannes Film Festival this year. And what he does, and that's actually the explanation why I brought a little bit of wine with me today, to make it even more understandable for you. What this guy does in Cannes is actually, he invites a lot of local producers from each and every territory. He doesn't meet the entire world, but he picks the one he knows best. And he just takes them to lunch, you know, and they have a little bit of white wine for lunch, and they have a little bit of white wine for dinner, and they have a little bit of white wine probably for breakfast. Who knows? If it's a French distributor, they somehow like it. And you end up with simply a lot of people drinking a lot of expensive wine while they're screening your film and talking about your film. And one of these local distributors, when he's drunk enough, might say, hey, I like it. Probably he says, I want to see the film again, next market in November in Los Angeles. So they take your film to Los Angeles. They have expensive flights, expensive dinners again, expensive transportation and hotel rooms. And when you're a very, very lucky producer, one of the very few 10%, one of these guys picks your film. And he picks your film for a certain territory. which could be, in this case, Scandinavia. And then he takes your film to Scandinavia, and in the end, he shows the film to his sub-distributors in Scandinavia. He goes to Finland, he goes to Sweden, he goes to Denmark, and he shows his film to all these people. And probably there's a Netflix executive out there being responsible for Swedish language films in Sweden and the Netflix program in Sweden. And he might pick your film. I'm not sure if this guy is into white wine or not, but pretty sure you've been so far down the road that the entire white wine thing is no longer yours, even though you've invested in the film and you've done all the work. So all these middlemen and people in between sort of leave you as a filmmaker with something like this, a little sip of wine, nothing less. And as you can imagine, this is not about wine. Wine is, by the way, this is about beer anyway here today, but the film business is more about wine. But in the end, the film business is a multi-billion-dollar industry we're targeting. And it is, of course, about money. But if all this wine stands for money, you can see what you're left with, what your share is as a filmmaker in the end. You know, when all these people sort of line up in the exploitation chain of these films, they definitely put the money in their pocket. And they make money. The distributor makes money, the world sales agent makes money, the theaters make money, the platforms make money. Everybody does. And in a very, very, very positive case, you make 10%. I can tell you, I have got a lot of friends out there in the industry who make less than 10%, sometimes zero. So as a Mexican filmmaker, you're left with a great feeling that your film gets seen somewhere abroad, but you're definitely not left with a big chunk of money. So this is the old world. And nobody in the industry wants this old world to change. That's what we are challenging, of course. The old world can live with this old system wonderfully, and nobody has any problems with it as the studios are making a lot of money. We are turning this system upside down because we think in a digital age, this simply is absolutely outdated and needs to be changed. So what we're coming up with is something that puts the whole system upside down. We could have challenged bits and pieces of the old world. A lot of people try hard to do that. But in the end, we decided to establish a fully global new system, which is made for the filmmaker, and our software enables all filmmakers worldwide, all rights holders worldwide, no matter if you hold a catalog of 5,000 titles or you produce a single film as a student filmmaker somewhere in Mexico. Our system enables you to target your worldwide audience. Producers know better how to reach their audience, and especially with social media communication and online marketing, it is up to the producers, the filmmakers anyway, and they can book the best agencies to help them in targeting these audiences. And they have a lot of money. They will have a lot of money in the future to do so, as we're turning the financials of the system upside down. As you can imagine, there are no more gatekeepers and no more middlemen in this system. It's simply the filmmaker and the producer we are connecting. Since we've invented this platform, people made us cry, actually, because it's meant to be self-uploaded and self-distributed and self-handled by the producer. And I can tell you one thing, we have a lot of catalogs on there. We have thousands of movies on there already from people who are sort of handling the film history. Because a lot of great films from the past you may have experienced yourself, you can't find on any platform, not even in their home country anymore, as they're just kicking the films out that don't make enough money. We will be there for all films. We will be the global archive for all films, the film back catalogs, and the future. So we've acquired all of these catalogs, and people were just happy because they were left in their shelves, and they were not monetizing these films, of course, because in the home territory the film is gone, but the rest of the world is left with the producer, and people out there want to watch these films. So we've acquired all these catalogs, but I can tell you the best moment in my life was one day after we launched the platform, we had the first uploads from South America. And we have never been to South America yet to promote the platform there. But there were filmmakers, and we looked at the films, and we said, wow, these are amazing films. And these were amazing films that were suddenly available for the entire world. And these people send us emails as we've now sold the first download and streams. This is just beginning. And they're now sitting in Mexico, and they're now talking to their fellow filmmakers. And there are more and more uploads happening. And we sit in the offices, and to be honest, I'm a very emotional entrepreneur. This makes me cry because these people are happy. They make money. It's liberation of the system. And they make the money they deserve. And they're going to invest this money in new films. The other gatekeepers and people in between, they're not investing in new films. They're probably investing in new white wine, new cars, new airplanes, whatever they like. But this is history. Now this money is going to go back to the creatives. It's going to give strength to the creatives. And they will come up with more product, great product for a global audience. This makes us proud as investors. And we have now signed a deal just recently with a great group of Chinese filmmakers who are suffering the same problem. We have access to a catalog of 5,000 Chinese films who are not available somewhere outside of China. There are, of course, millions of Chinese people outside of the world. And we're now giving these people access to their home territory. That's a great mission we're on, and we're very, very proud to build a fulfillment partner and a software partner for the future to make all of this happen. Is there a way we can go back to my friend Matthias in Berlin? Matthias, are you with us? Do you still hear us? Ah!
Hey!
So Matthias, what do you think about this? Have you ever heard about this great idea we had?
Dan, you know I love it.
Do you like it?
Oh yeah, I love it. But you know, I love wine too.
Yeah.
Wine and money, of course.
Well, this is actually why we're doing it, actually. Matthias and me, we had the idea while we were drinking white wine. And we said, why do all these other people drink our wine? So you even have more wine now. Isn't it great?
I can't remember, you know.
You can't remember. Indeed. But I remember one thing, Matthias. I remember one thing. You're into wine. That's something I've been through a couple of times in the last 15 years we've been around. But you're also into money, aren't you?
Totally.
How about money?
Yeah.
So let's take a look at the financials of the model. By the way, thank you, Matthias. Say goodbye to everyone.
Okay.
Talk to you later. Goodbye.
Okay. Talk to you later.
We want to talk about money here. It's even more important than you.
Dan, please talk about money now. Thank you very much and goodbye.
Well, I want to talk about money, not about wine. Bye-bye. So talking of which, you can imagine that this old system and this old chain where people were making money that are not your friends, buying the wrong stuff and not investing in your next movie is just simply the past. And by cutting out all these middlemen and gatekeepers, the world looks different. This is the future of film revenue. These are the two parties that will simply make money with your films. It's us as the software providers, us as the global platform, and it is the filmmaker, the people who really deserve it, the people who have invested in the films, blood, sweat, and tears, and risked their existence sometimes to make films. And you can imagine that this is something which is sort of aggressively coming in the way of all the studios and all the old guys and the old players in the business, no doubt. And we like that. It's a hard and it's a tough challenge. It's a hard competition we're in right now. But this is something which is worth fighting for us. And as I told you, this is something big groups in China, for instance, really appreciate. And as some of you may have been in China, you may have experienced that the Chinese somehow really don't like working with the Americans for historic reasons. As a European and German platform, this is a total match for us. It's a huge advantage and actually one of the good reasons we now acquired these 5,000 films. So this is how we want to change the future. We want producers to simply upload their films. We want producers to simply pick certain territories they want their films to be available. That can be what can be done in the producer's front end. You can upload your film. It's not exclusive. We're absolutely against exclusivity in this business. We want to keep and liberate the filmmaker. You can pick territories you want your film to be released in. You can pick the price. You can pick online marketing campaigns. This is all to you. This is all to the filmmaker. And as we're now going down this way, and as we're now experiencing these great successes, I can only encourage you, all of them out there, to believe in aggressively new ideas. Just follow your dreams, your challenges, and do whatever you think is best to change this world. We are conquering an enormously old, 100-year-old tradition, but it's a lot of fun doing so. And if we wouldn't do so. It would be really boring just to remain a part of this old world, which we don't want to do. It's going to be tough, and I'm not sure if it's going to be us who, in the end, will just dominate the world with our new platform. But I'm sure that this trend will remain, and that this is the straight link between the producer and the filmmaker is the future of film distribution in a digital age. And I know one thing, we are the first to do so. And I can only encourage you to, whatever you want to do, be the first and follow that path. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Dan.
Thank you, Daniel.